Disabled parking abuse is a universal problem. It's in every county in Texas, it's in every state in the union.
Can you tell us why you park here?
Just in and out.
Having one of those placards myself, it's not just a convenience, it's a necessity for my way of life. Many times it means that I can do the things I need to do without help versus having to ask someone to help me.
As the president of the Lone Star Paralysis Foundation and having really hundreds of friends that have to rely on wheelchairs to get around, or maybe just don't get around that well and need those spaces, it's like insulting my friends.
I have a father-in-law who was injured in an accident a few years ago, and I don't think I ever really paid attention to what it took to get him around until we went to dinner one night when he was visiting and there was no parking. And that was probably the difference between us being able to eat or not, because we couldn't park a mile away and have him walk. It just wasn't possible.
People take this for granted, you know. People like take the fact that they can drive up to the grocery store and walk in, you know, for granted.
18% of our population are people with disabilities, and only 4% of our parking is set aside specifically for their needs, and a quarter of that is being abused at any given time. And we need to ensure that we protect these spaces for people to be able to access the goods and services in their community and make sure that they can do that in a healthy and safe way.
Most people want to do what's right. They unthinkingly park illegally in a parking spot. We see a lot of this at our government center. People just trying to run in for a minute or whatever. Or they have a nice new car and they don't want to get it scratched, so they park it in a handicapped parking place.
I think enforcement is an important part. I think we have to have enforcement, but I think education is more important. Parking mobility brings that to the table for us.
Parking mobility is a great example of putting more eyes and more ears on the street, creating a nice separation between what's police work and what's citizen work, and fixing a problem.
Parking mobility makes sense because we're trying to make handicapped parking available to those who need it. It makes sense because it's a program that doesn't focus on enforcement as much as it does on education. There's grace involved.
It's not just a proof of concept that this is a working product that's out there, ready to be deployed. And I'd want them to know that even if it doesn't meet 100% of their requirements today, they've built a solid platform on which give us your requirements and we'll meet them.
Parking mobility is a flexible program. It's going to work perfect in our county. It's designed so that we can put it in place in various offices. It could be in our JP offices, it could be in our county judge's office. It just requires someone to monitor the system and answer questions and be there to answer the phone.
Parking mobility does a great job of educating through this program. And sometimes it's a tough education. Sometimes it's kind of tough love when you get that fine. But certainly it's going to create awareness, and awareness equals education, and education equals enlightenment. And I think once anyone's enlightened, they're going to want to do the right thing.
I would hope that other county and city governments would adopt the program because it just makes sense and it's the right thing to do.
One of the great things about Parking Mobility's program is that it takes 20% of the revenue and it feeds it directly back into selected charities.
Parking Mobility has worked long and hard to create a program that makes sense for everyone in the community. It protects the health and safety of people with disabilities. It is responsive to the needs of government and to every citizen. It creates educational opportunities and partnerships with other nonprofits in the community. Parking Mobility is the right thing to do for everyone.
One of the most impactful things that Parking Mobility discussed with us was that they hoped that someday their program wouldn't be needed, that we would solve the problem and we wouldn't have to be enforcing anything anymore.